We've all had those little and big missteps in our lives. What if they weren't right or wrong? What if they're just choices on the way to consciousness? Welcome to the Mis-steps of Consciousness TV show with Hayden and Julie.
And we're live, coming at you from the internet world and the rest of the world and consciousness, with our guest Connor J. Hill, and of course your host Julie Andrew and Hayden Glover. Hi there.
Hi everyone.
Cheers.
Welcome to the Mis-steps TV show. Wow. We have got Connor O'Hill. Sorry, I get that O'Hill. No, it's Connor Hill. Sorry about that. I'm shocking with name. No. Hey, welcome. Welcome, Connor. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Hayden.
Oh, he's so cool. Aw. Right, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was there a question? Sorry, I barely heard that. I should put my headphones in again. There we go.
Cool.
Okay, so Hayden, what's our conversation? We're going to have the conversation with Connor today. Because I've really, my whole world with using the access tools, access consciousness tools, and that has changed so much over the last couple of weeks. So I really don't know even what we're going to talk about today. So it's on topic, so kind of anything is for grab that we can talk onto this show today. So yeah.
I like that as a start. I like that as a start where you're like, everything over the last 2 weeks has changed so much. I don't even know where to begin. Ideally, that's the way your life is, like, always, from here on out.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting, people often, like, I had somebody recently, I think I don't remember who I was talking to, but just talking about, the older you get, the more set in your ways you get. Well, access is all about getting unset from all your ways, so it's a lot of fun where I do find myself doing that. Sometimes you're like, God, it's just like things that just don't have a grip on anything. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's just no reference.
So if you're trying to, figure out the tools of access, good luck, because they'll change.
Well, that's interesting that you brought that up, like, that if you're trying to figure it out, because we were literally talking about, before the show, we were talking about the inconceivable and conceivable energies, and how much that's come to play in our lives now, and how much we've noticed we are beginning to step up to that and become this incognitive thing of creation, monstrosity of awesomeness. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we've always been that. We really haven't been aware of that. We've just really cut that inconceivable of us out, out of our reality. So that's what we've been playing with. So yeah, we've been playing with inconceivable and conceivable reality this morning. That's what we've been talking about.
Cool. So does inconceivable is inconceivable? Is it just inconceivable to everybody else and not also inconceivable to you?
What do you mean? Please elaborate.
So if you're looking at, like, just like we were saying, like, if you're like, oh God, I'm like trying to figure out my life, like, are you trying to make, like, because you can, a lot of times it's really easy for people to notice, wow, I'm inconceivable to other people. Like, they don't understand, they don't get how I function, how I operate. Everybody's like, that person's weird. Now what happens when you start recognizing that you're inconceivable to you?
Yeah, that's what we've been just talking about.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's what we were talking about. That we're inconceivable.
No wonder why you can't figure out anything.
So,
So, hey.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, so that's the place where we start to have
Hayden,
fun,
go for it.
and we start to live, and we don't have to go by this reality or anything that's ever been put in. Oh, look, your eyes are getting bigger as we do this as well. Like, yes, and we don't have to live by any standards or anything like that. Oh, I got it.
Yeah,
before.
and then next thing you know, you like have to pay a bill, and you're like, shit, I have to do something here. Crap. So yeah, it is. It's like it was just like with this call. I was like, oh crap, what time? I'm like, is it Wednesday in Australia already? I'm like, I don't even know what day it is here. Shit. So yeah, like I was just talking to a friend that I was talking to Leeson, who I'm doing Forbidden Desires with, and she's leaving the 7-day in Costa Rica, and she's like, everything I've been asking for is showing up within 24 hours. She's like, I asked for a better, like another place a good place to buy jewelry that I can then sell for more money. And she's like, before she even left Costa Rica, she thought for sure it was going to be when she got back to Europe and she was going to find a store there. But the universe was like, nah, I'll show you here while you're in Costa Rica. And she found like 4 pieces of jewelry that she's going to be able to make some money on.
Wow, that's awesome. So she went on.
So it's, yeah.
Wow, that's so inconceivable to most.
Because
she goes on, sort of, people would think holiday, and then she comes back and making more money than she had before, which is just crazy to most people. Yeah.
yeah. So how inconceivable is it to make money on holiday? Or does that just fuck it up and make holiday work? So do you or other people create holiday as something that you have to spend a ton of money on just so you can prove that you're not working?
Yes.
And that's the conceivable of this reality.
And what if it was actually that you did make money and that work was so much fun that you didn't want to go on holiday?
You just constantly create, and you're never stopping and starting. You just just constantly. Yeah, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Connor, would that be their adventure of living?
What's your adventure? It's my adventure of living, yeah. What's your adventure of living?
Well, my adventure of living is choosing what's fun for me, choosing what I would like to create. My adventure of living is coming out of something that I always believed was real and true that isn't. That's my adventure of living. Like, you know, my drama, and like for me, I've written my drama and trauma, you know, and coming out of that has been my own adventure. Like that's been really fun, knowing that's been one of the biggest lives that I've actually created as my life and all that and everything.
Was it so fun? Was it so fun that you'd like to create trauma and drama again just so you can have the fun of getting out of it?
I don't create drama and trauma.
I'm not saying you do. I just know that there are some people out there that might go, wow, wait, do I actually create drama and drama so I can get out of it? Kind of like the relationships that people have where they fight each other just so they can have, like, make-up sex.
Yeah. Yep.
Never made sense to me, but I know people.
Yeah, no, that's a very human reality. I've heard Gary talk about that, the founder of Access Consciousness. He talks about...
Oh, cool. Okay, well, we'll just continue on.
Very interesting.
how's it getting you better than that? Well, we'll continue on with this. Continue, Julie, and we'll just bring him back on in a second.
Yeah, it's a really interesting where we are going back and forth. So what is your adventure of living, Hayden?
Getting to experience something brand new every single day. And always stepping up to more. Like, we always talk about this, well, I always seem to be talking about the stepping up to more. That is my adventure of living. Where it's, what more, what cool more things do I get to create today that I never had the possibility of yesterday. Yeah.
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 Really? Yeah, well, like for me, it's about, he's just logging in. It's about going back into that, to have the inconceivable about me. I'm just totally inconceivable. Like, no matter what I'm choosing, it's just even inconceivable to me to have such a different reality. For my whole reality to start showing up like this is just so inconceivable to me. That's what. It just
How cool. Cool. We're still live, by the way. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the problems of intercoastal global video stuff calls.
Yeah.
I love this. I think this is great. Remember, like, when there used to be movies of like people calling each other with video, and you're like, no one's ever gonna call each other with video. We're never gonna need that. It's totally fine to just talk.
Yeah.
I find myself doing it like daily now.
Well, isn't it cool that we live in like such a world where we can now talk to someone across the world instead of having to just literally wait months or years or or whatever to see this person, to actually discuss with this person. Like, we can be so much closer and create so much more just with this single ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got back from doing classes in Germany, and while we were in Germany, we were driving around on the Autobahn, and my mom was like, "Oh wow, when I was in the Autobahn, it was so cool. We hitchhiked, and like this guy with a really nice car picked us up when we were driving 240 kilometers an hour," and I was like, "Wow." And we got there an hour faster than everybody else, so I was like, "How did you know where you were going? Were you just using maps?" I would assume. And she goes, "Nope." I was like, "So you just flagged down a car and said, 'Hey, we're headed to Munich. Take us there,' and there you go." Now you got maps on your phone, and it's like, always know where you're going.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Cool. Well,
So where do we want to take this show? Hayden, what questions would you like to ask Connor? We've got Connor, for the next 20 minutes. So if you could ask any questions, what questions would you ask Connor right now? So let's get to know Connor on the show, on the Mis-steps on the show. So what question could you ask Connor right now?
so Connor, receiving. We were discussing you earlier, and we're like, oh, all these women are really into Connor, and I was going to ask how you received that. Like, were you always able to just receive that? I know, she's lost it. Were you always able to receive
It's a
that?
really good question.
Yes.
Hayden, beautiful, beautiful question.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
I just
it's,
know a lot of women that are into you. You probably don't know of them, but I do know a lot.
no, I don't believe I know the full extent of it. I'm very good at being like, la-di-da.
It's really funny because I went over to the 9 trannies, and I do have a lot of US facilitators, my friends, and you do come up in conversation. So
Oh, good. Oh, good. And that's the start of it. Really, that's the start of it. Is I started just enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because, and to answer your question, Hayden, no, it hasn't always been like, yes, I just receive it and enjoy it for whatever it is. In the beginning, it's really weird as a man to have that. At least it was for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are some men out there, out in the world, that doesn't involve access, that have plenty of women that want them and they're used to it or something. But for the most part, a lot of people that do have a lot of people that lust after them or desire them or talk about them, whatever, a lot of times put up barriers to that because it can be fairly intense.
Yeah.
So you really just start to, just like you said, receive it. It is receiving, and be grateful for whatever it is, whether it's projections and expectations and desires and especially the one of, I shouldn't say the one, but the type of thing of where it does come from, like, oh my God, this is an amazing person. And don't get me wrong, I've done that with girls. I'm like, oh my God, I met you, and 3 seconds later, to me, you're the most amazing person on the planet right now.
Why am I
And
not
so,
married
right, exactly. And not gonna lie, I've created a little bit of that, and you can notice that people can create that. It's just an energy about them. So, and then you can use it to your advantage. And it's not just really going to bed with a lot of women might not work out in your best interest, or it will, like whatever works. But really the receiving of all of that, I just, I adore it. It's just, people are awesome.
Oh.
Really, if I actually look at it. A lot of times I hate people, but with you saying that question, it's nice. Once you get over any other points of views that, because you might be able to have a point of view of, oh God, they think no matter who the person is, if you're a girl or a guy that has girls that like you or has guys like you, I will say as a guy, to start receiving men liking you, if you're a straight man and gay men like you, to start just receiving that and not resisting that and not going into homophobia or just not even, and just going, wow, like that's really cool that someone finds me attractive or really likes me or whatever it is. To just enjoy that is, just to receive that from the men makes it so much easier when you get it from women, because when you're getting it from women as a man and you like women, you try and figure it out.
So when you lower your barriers down, like what you're saying, so having no barriers, no points of views, nothing, then you can receive everything from that person.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. So can I, my question to you is, so with the love from women and men that you receive from, I can talk louder.
Yeah.
What does that contribute to your body? Like, I know for me, when I'm aware a man's lusting after my body, it really turns, my body turns on, and it doesn't matter who the man is or who the woman is, but that lust energy, my body just thrives on it. So what does it do, like, for your body when you're receiving that lust energy?
So I would say, like, the lust, it loves it, like, loves lust. And there's often not only one energy you're getting, ever. Like, you're getting a lot. So it's really that, I mean, to receive all those things is it really turns into just information.
Yeah.
Like, whatever energies someone is being with you or sending at you or whatever, like if someone's lusting after you or they hate you or all these things, your body just starts to act and give you information. Like, I just loved when we were in New York, someone we were with, a woman was like, someone was asking like, oh God, you know, about this subject. I don't remember it exactly, but it was about this subject. And then she goes, oh my God, wait, no, I said it. Yeah, this is how it was. I was like, I just started asking for judgment. Because a lot of times, like, terrible judgment, can't remember shit. A lot of times, like, someone judging you negatively, right? You're like, oh, God, it feels really bad. I started asking, what would it take for all judgments, positive, negative, whatever, to actually turn your body on, like the lust energy turns your body on? What would it take for you just to enjoy all of them?
All energy. Yeah, what would that be like? Like, wow, like, what would that be like to just receive all energy and be willing to receive that?
It's a turn on.
And with that, you wouldn't have to.
My body's just orgasming. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Connor, turning my body on.
Uh-huh.
Ladies,
Ladies and gentlemen, and like just even animals. Wow, that's awesome. So Hayden, like, what's going on with your body with this conversation and what we're asking Connor and like with what Connor's bringing up with this conversation?
I was going to say that I've become a lot more aware of this in the last few months as well, like how much people actually admire my body, and I'd never been willing to see that before. And then, back to what Connor said, like, you ask for actual judgment to show up? That's getting out of this idea that, oh, it's bad, it's terrible, we've got to, you've got to avoid this, like, it's a bad thing to be judged. You're willing to be like, yeah, sure, I'll take that, that's a contribution to my life, whatever. So it's pretty cool.
Like Gary says, if you receive a judgment without a point of view, you get $5,000 more that year.
And if you don't, you lose 10,000 that year.
Is that what he said? I always, if that's the case too, then man, I better not doing that.
Yeah, it's 10,000. So if you resist judgment or react to judgment, you lose 10,000, and if you receive judgment, it's 5,000.
You know what? That's a good one. I've felt a lot of people watching this now and in the future go, oh wow, I don't care about making the $5,000, but I really don't want to lose $10,000. It's a very good manipulation.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I know. I don't want to lose 10,000 each time I resist a judgment. So it's like, you know, it's like a muscle for me. It's like, and I know, like, Hayden and I have lots of conversations with this. It's really having, you know, really toning and getting that muscle of receiving, like just receiving any judgment with no barriers, with no point of view, with her. That's one of my targets, and that's one of the, like, what we, you know, created this show for. So then anyone can come on and talk about anything and be able to, you know, show different possibilities and different ways of, you know, with receiving. So, where do we like to go now? Like, what other questions would we like? And you can jump in. Like, our show is more like a conversation, you know.
Okay, cool.
It's like, you know, it's like, it's just
like,
the three of us really talk.
It's not us having you in an interrogation room being like, where'd you hide everything? Where's the money, damn it? It's not that. It's like, We just casually
I
ask.
put it up my ass.
Oh. It's dirty money now, damn it!
Wow.
It's dirty. It's really dirty.
What torture? Okay, Hayden, you've just taken this a different place. What torture? What fun and torture could we be and do with Connor right now?
Ooh.
So
Torture me, torture
what
me.
could we be? What could we be? What questions could we ask? And what torture we could be? And how much fun could we go beyond this with torture? What if torture and could be such a fun energy too?
Please elaborate a bit more, because torture's always had like this. That's all. No, well, that's the way we've always had to see it, like projected upon us.
Is having your body turned on torture?
Huh.
Well, not to them, but to most people. What if it is?
Yeah. That could. Oh wow.
It is.
They have to go through the series of things, like they're like, I'm turned on. Okay, so we know what we do with the turn on. Wink. Then they have to go do.
There's a lot of people that think torture is the only way to get their body turned on. It's the only way that they can actually feel anything. Because they are so turned off that the only time they feel something is if they put a clamp on their something.
Hoo-ha.
Oh, spot on.
Everything that brings up.
Spot
Mystery
on.
uncreated all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, buckle, 9 shorts, boys,
Right.
and beyonds.
Huh?
Hey, everybody, if you haven't heard the clearing statement, that's actually the clearing statement from Access Consciousness. Cool.
Well, it's interesting to say that.
So,
Cause
Yeah.
I was gonna ask about masturbation here, because it's in sex, how it's always
go for it.
at least for men that I've known of, it's like, oh, quick, do it. You do it quickly so no one ever sees you. You hide it, and then, oh, we're done. We did men stuff, and it's
Well, there's also an interesting aspect to that too, because there's been a lot of religions and a lot of things that have been created, even like little contraptions to actually put a penis in, that if the penis gets hard, then it like is a contraption that has a whole bunch of nails, so that if the penis gets bigger and hard, then it actually gets stabbed. So, and that was around for thousands of years. So, or maybe hundreds, I don't know about that. I'm like, wow, I guess it's only been 2,000 years since Rome. But, you know, through Rome, a lot of the penises have been removed from statues, where sort of a penis was something that was not a bad thing. You know, people walked around naked a long time ago, and horses still do, and dogs still do, and all of a sudden the penis became like this really terrible thing, and it should be hidden, and it should be tortured, and so on and so forth. So everything that brings up comes against and destroyed and created all.
right and wrong, good and bad, bum buck, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously you shouldn't go out like in public and be like, "Hey, everybody!" But
My Venus.
yeah, I mean, well, one of the other interesting aspects is that there's also I don't remember the exact studies anymore. It's been a long time since I looked at the information, but there are studies that say the majority, so like 70%, or there at least more than 50% of women can't have an orgasm. Whilst at the same time, more than 50% of women don't actually masturbate. And I mean, if we go into the masturbation territory too, most of the people are doing it from contraction, sadly, where you're contracting all of your energy, you're contracting your awareness, you're bringing it into the smallest point of your body. So getting back to turning on your body, there's a lot of people that only really orgasm from the sexual body parts that you have, as opposed to
Living orgasmically.
Or just having your whole body feel good. The thing is that I've noticed, like, a lot of people do drugs so that you can feel more. Like they're like, I'm on ecstasy, and like, oh my God, everything feels so good when you're on ecstasy. Or wine tastes better and music sounds better when you're on marijuana or on ecstasy, and like all these drugs just make everything sound better, but it's the only time that you're actually willing to have that turn on and that sensualness with your body. When you are turned on, when your body's turned on, when you're living orgasmically, I shouldn't say everything, like McDonald's still tastes bad, but things that, yeah,
Support us,
things that
McDonald's.
taste good taste, yeah, things that taste good taste really good. Things that feel good feel really good. And like the sight, and like when I talked about where people torture themselves so that their bodies feel better, I'm like, you're torturing like that. Like my body's like, my entire body sends, if I think of like even getting pricked slightly, my entire body like lights up. Not in like a turned on that feels good way, like a no, don't do that. Where in the past I wouldn't even feel it. But it's also just information. It's not something that I'm like freaked out about. It's not something that like is too intense. It's just really intense, and I'm like, okay, don't cut yourself. Or don't let somebody freaking bite you.
So with this information that you get with your body, and so if it's turned on or it's a pleasure or any energy, so you were just saying before about like bodies being turned off or people are turned off. What can you know, if you're a person that's looking at to have more in your life and more with your body, like what would you like? You know, yes, we're talking about the access tools, but like for you, what turns your body on? Like what gets you more alive with your body?
As far as like, I guess, the first thing that comes up is I have this little screw next to my computer. It's nothing special. And I'm sitting here going like this with it. It just feels good. Like, it's like, oh, that feels really good. I like doing that. I like touching things. It's like you see it in little kids. Like, their mouths are open and they're like, they're like tasting everything and touching everything, and they're like, oh, this world is so cool. Look at all this stuff that you can feel. And I noticed when I played American football, and I played a little bit of rugby too, like the general idea with like not getting hurt is to cut off your awareness of your body so that you're like, oh, I don't feel that. I don't feel pain. As opposed to there's another side where you can actually feel the pain, feel the intensity of it, and you're like, wow, that's really intense.
Thank you, Connor. This morning
Yeah.
I woke up. My body was intense with pain. Intense. And
Yeah.
I went in, what is this, or like that, instead of just being present with it and
Exactly.
just being.
Yeah.
Fucking you. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
And that's another week done and another great episode. Hope you all enjoyed it as much as Hayden and Julie did. See you next episode.